Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Global God Choice. Only I choose Saiyan Bloodline 16. Chapter 16. Chapter 16. The day the ruins opened. 10 hours. Looking at the numbers on the timer, Shu Heng couldn't believe it. He turned his head and felt that the surrounding light was dim, and suddenly found that it was getting dark. Shu Heng remembers that he woke up at 6 o'clock every morning, and after standing for 2 hours, he set off to the training room. The swimming pool is next to the training room. That is, at 8 in the morning, he started snorkeling training. Now that it's over, it's getting dark. I still remember a week ago when he held his breath for less than 20 minutes during his first snorkeling training. You must know that people in this world fight with beasts all the year round. Ordinary people with relatively good physique can do it for more than 30 minutes, and his physical fitness is far beyond that of ordinary people, and his breath-holding time is not as good as ordinary people. However, after a week of training, he is not what he used to be. Suddenly, a burst of hunger strikes. High-intensity training, coupled with not eating for almost a whole day, and now suddenly come back to his senses, he feels completely empty. He's going to have something to eat. So, he slowed down, and after feeling some strength, got up and walked outside the training hall. Ellipsis 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 dot dot. Birds dripping in pairs on the tree. At the gate of the training room, the doorman was still drinking tea and listening to opera. Suddenly, he found a figure soaking wet, walking towards the door. This is it, he's only coming out now. Has he been training until now? I remember he went in the morning. The gatekeeper was very surprised. When he saw Shu Heng coming to practice every day, he thought it was incredible. I didn't expect it to be even worse today, and I trained directly from morning to night. Is this fatal? He very much doubted whether Shu Heng was an undercover agent sent by the Budo department to the logistics department. How can the people in the logistics department work so hard? Even the people from the martial arts department didn't train like this, right? Hey, young man, the old man stopped Shu Heng. Okay. Shu Heng turned to look at the uncle who was watching the door, feeling a little regretful at the same time. He had met this old man several times, but he had hardly spoken to him, so he didn't know why he was suddenly looking for him. Young man, you are a power user, right? I don't know which character you fit in. What level? The old man asked, with a little expectation on his face. Such crazy training, ordinary people can't bear it. Son Goku, Shu Heng answered briefly. The old man was a little surprised. He thought he was not talking about Master Roshi, at least he was at the level of Tien Shinhan, but he didn't expect it to be Son Goku. It's a pity, the old man shook his head. However, even a waste bloodline like Son Goku should be somewhat effective under the stimulation of such high-intensity training. With such hard training, the young man will not be useless in the future. Hey, young man, I heard that you are newborn, and you are about to enter the second ruins, which is the Dream Ruins. Uncle sees that you are working very hard. I remind you that you must get the totem in the Dream Ruins. This is related to whether you can leave the dream freely. What? Shu Heng was stunned for a moment, a little surprised. He didn't expect the uncle to tell him this. He felt a little funny. He has seen the complete episode of Inception, and he is very clear about every detail in it. In this world, he can say with confidence, no one understands totems better than him. However, he still nodded slightly to the uncle, thank you. After all, the uncle is also kind. After speaking, he walked towards the school cafeteria. After a hard meal, he went straight to the dormitory. He was too tired now and needed a good rest. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Early the next morning, Shu Heng, who woke up, hurriedly opened the property panel. He wanted to see how big the results were after the devil's training in the past 2 weeks. Properties panel. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Name: Shu Heng. Constitution: 660. Spirit: 530. Strength: 421. Agility: 342. Bloodline: Son Goku, Super Saiyan. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Quote exclamation mark quote. Looking at the numbers on the attribute panel, Shu Heng was excited for a while. The physical values have increased tenfold, especially the increase in mental power, which is as much as 15 times. This scuba breath holding training is quite effective. Of course, it's mainly because of the metamorphosis of Saiyan's bloodline. The more dying, the stronger after recovery. Shu Heng is very satisfied with the results of his practice. Now, compared to when he first entered the school, his physical fitness has improved by as much as 20 times. When he entered the Dream Ruins, he would not be afraid even if he faced the alien queen. Hey, Shu Heng, the ruins are going to be open today, don't forget, go to the playground to gather. When Shu Heng was delighted with the results of his practice, the voice of his roommate Wu Dun came. So they walked towards the playground together. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. On the playground, the teacher from the logistics department was already there, and the teacher who led the team was actually the one who taught Shu Heng and the others before. Looking at the neatly arranged students, the teacher felt very relieved. Classmates, after entering the ruins later, you must not touch around. If you accidentally touch a beast egg, you may be attacked by your face. Finally, please remember, you must have confidence, our logistics department is not a dry meal. Encouraged by the teacher's words, the students in the queue also became very excited. Yes, although I did not successfully fit the bloodline, but this time, I must kill 2 beasts to play with. Just when everyone is confident and has a heated discussion. Suddenly, an untimely voice sounded. Oh, isn't this from the logistics department? The liberal arts champion should be here. When everyone looked, they saw a group of people in exquisite silk-like uniforms walking towards them neatly. The identity card hanging on the waist has 3 words written on it. Martial Arts Academy. Ellipsis 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 dot dot. Global God Choice. Only I choose Saiyan Bloodline 17. Chapter 17. Chapter 17. Enter the Dream Ruins. Opposite the logistics department, a neat group of students stood upright. Wearing a silk-like professional suit with exquisite patterns embroidered on it, neatly cut. At the waist, a silver-white identity card is dazzling. On the identity card, there are 3 big characters inlaid with jade, Martial Arts Academy. Obviously, these are all geniuses of the Martial Arts Academy with strong bloodline matching talents. The people inside are estimated to be the worst martial arts geniuses with red bloodline compatibility. These people are also the elites of the future human beings. Looking at the geniuses of the martial arts department opposite, the classmates in the logistics department began to whisper. As expected of the martial arts department, it does look very imposing and full of energy. Look at the one at the front, it feels so strong. If we remember correctly, he should be Shang Feng. It was him at the beginning, and he successfully matched the bloodline of Master Roshi. Now it seems to be more powerful than before. And the little girl next to her, the bloodline fit was golden, super bloodline. I'm so envious, I don't know if I can successfully fit a bloodline in this life. Hearing the comments of the students in the logistics department, especially the envy in their voices, the students in the martial arts department felt proud. Ahead, Shang Feng glanced at the students in the logistics department. The champion of liberal arts, the old classmate is here, why don't you come out and meet? In fact, he had already seen where Shu Heng was, but he pretended not to see it. What are you afraid of? Suddenly, a fiery voice sounded. Everyone heard the sound and saw that it was the leading teacher of the logistics department. What are you afraid of? Seeing you all downcast, the people in our logistics department don't eat dry rice. Come on, let's go first. After speaking, the teacher led the students from the logistics department straight to the entrance of the ruins. Is that the champion of liberal arts? It really fits into the logistics department perfectly. Of course, after all Son Goku's fit. Looking at Shu Heng in the crowd in the logistics department, there were several voices of discussion in the crowd in the martial arts department. Shang Feng in the front row pouted as he looked at Xu Heng, who was leaving in the crowd in the logistics department. Beside him, a little girl stared curiously at Xu Heng, who was far away. She was also there when Xu Heng fit in with Son Goku. But back then, he was completely incomparable to what he is now. As the owner of the Golden Extraordinary Bloodline, she has an extremely powerful perception. In her perception, the aura that Xu Heng exudes does not seem to be weaker than Shang Feng next to her. Even, it seems to be stronger. However, Xu Heng, who left, did not know the thoughts of the people behind him. At this time, under the leadership of the teacher, he came to the entrance of the Dream Ruins. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Unlike the first relic, which was guarded by a few people, it was full of green military vehicles. Around the ruins, countless officers and soldiers, the inner 3 layers and the outer 3 layers, firmly surrounded the ruins. In addition, there are patrol teams from time to time to check the periphery of the ruins. On the outermost periphery of the encirclement of the ruins, there is also a crash fence made of high-strength alloy steel. The anti-collision alloy fence of about 1 meter weighs several tons. Looking at this alloy fence that surrounds the entire ruins, the weight is unimaginable. The person in front, what are you doing? Please show your pass. There was still nearly 100 meters away from the ruins, and a patrol team stepped forward to check. It is obviously not the first time that the teacher leading the team has come here, and he negotiated very skillfully. We came from the university to experience, this is the pass, please check. The team that came to inspect and found that there was no abnormality, pointed to the side. Please go to the inspection entrance of East number 3 and scan it. After the patrol team left, there were whispers in the crowd. Fuck, it's so strict, is it guarding some kind of diluted treasure? When I went to the Dragon Ball ruins, there were not so many mobs. Hearing the students' questions, the teacher in front turned back and said, "This is to protect the ruins, do you see that circle of fences? It is to prevent the impact of the beast tide. After all, this ruin has not yet been developed. If it is hit by the beast tide, the loss will be huge." Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. At the entrance of East number 3, one after another testing instruments are lined up in a long strip. Please line up and come over for testing one by one. At the entrance, the staff shouted to the crowd. First classmate, start testing. As soon as the voice fell, the detection instrument began to flicker with various lights. Immediately afterwards, a series of electronic announcements sounded. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Biological virus detection, normal. Target emotion detection, normal. Abnormal item detection, normal. The detection of parasitic beasts in the body is normal. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. A series of electronic detectors shone with dazzling light, making the eyes have the urge to cry. Finally, the electronic light disappeared. It's so troublesome, have you finally finished the test? Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. The front, come here, and the last item, human body defect scanning detection. The men and women are divided into 2 groups. Just when everyone thought the test was over, the officer's voice came from the front again. Take off your shirt and come over one by name. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Inside a simple tent. The scanning officer looked at Xu Heng, who was preparing to be tested, with a slightly excited expression on his face. Young man, you have a good foundation. Do you want to consider coming to our army? Every year, we recruit many students from the Martial Arts Academy as elite team members. Hey, you're not from the Martial Arts Academy. In the back office. The officer who was scanning looked at the ID card in Shu Heng's hand, and the expression on his face changed from excitement to surprise. That's right, the people in the logistics department can still practice like this, they can be made. Let's go first. Ha, finally finished. After all the inspection procedures, Shu Heng finally managed to enter the ruins. Looking at the 4 giant clocks standing in front of him, Shu Heng was very excited. Dreamland Ruins. I'm here. Ellipsis 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 dot. Global God Choice. Only I choose Saiyan Bloodline 18. Chapter 18. Chapter 18. Shushin, a teacher close to the king. HMPH, the waste is finally gone, it looks disgusting. In the back, Sheng Feng, who had been keeping his eyes on Shu Heng, looked at the figure disappearing from his sight, and pouted in disdain. Why let us wait here, but let them go first. Logistics and logistics, you should follow them and wait to die, but they even let them go first. Well, cannon fodder, when you go to the battlefield in the future, someone has to go ahead and consume it. Hey, it's not bad to let them in and clean up, ha 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 ha. In the front row of the martial arts team, looking at everyone laughing, the little girl seemed much quieter. She thoughtfully and silently, with the inheritance of the priesthood, her perception was different from ordinary people. In particular, she is a supporter. In order to provide her teammates with better attribute enhancements, she usually needs to conduct subtle perception tests on various attribute indicators of the human body. Just now, in her perception, the overall feeling Shu Heng gave him was no weaker than Sheng Feng next to him. She even wondered if she had an illusion. HMPH, I just made a small achievement, and my tail is about to go up to the sky. Didn't the teacher teach you to respect people? Sudden, just when everyone in the martial arts department felt proud and talked a lot. A terrifying aura rose to the sky from the teacher who led the team from the logistics department next to him. In the distance, a piercing sound suddenly erupted from the silent military guard. Ellipsis 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 dot. Alarm alert. An unknown aura appeared ahead, with super high intensity, close to the king level. Alarm alert. An unknown aura appeared ahead, with super high intensity, close to the king level. Combat troops are ready. Electromagnetic radar, full power scan. High energy ion cannon, filled with energy, ready to launch at any time. Ellipsis 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 dot. Where the martial arts department was, I felt the terrifying pressure of the aura. The students all turned pale, a sense of suffocation came over their faces, and their throats seemed to be pinched. What's more, the legs are weak and swaying from side to side, and it seems that they are going to kneel on the ground. Shu Tian, compared with students, your temper is still so hot. Just as everyone in the martial arts department was shaky, a gentle aura came over all the students of the martial arts department. I saw that in front of the martial arts department, the leading teacher also exuded a strong aura, resisting the terrifying pressure of the logistics teacher. Your students in the martial arts department are so arrogant, I'm afraid you, your teacher, teach a lot. Otherwise, why are you so arrogant? The voice of the logistics teacher came, like thunder. What are you doing? Suddenly, when the two teachers confronted each other, rows of army green trucks approached and surrounded the place. Above each military vehicle, there is a cannon with a thick diameter. Faced with such a huge battle, the students were a little overwhelmed and did not understand why so many people suddenly appeared. Suddenly, a man in an officer's uniform got off the truck and glanced at the crowd. Military place, no fighting. Take out the walkie-talkie. Report, there is nothing abnormal here. There are no beasts. Withdraw. Soon, the military vehicle disappeared like a stream of water, as if it had never appeared. The people in the martial arts department looked at the teacher in the logistics department in front, and their faces were pale for a while. This is the teacher from the logistics department. I can't believe it. My eyes were black just now, and I felt like I was going to faint. That aura, it's not the king level, it's almost the same. I don't know what level of bloodline fit, I can't see it at all. Ahead, the martial arts teacher turned around and looked at the pale martial arts students. Haha, don't always underestimate the logistics department. Back then, the logistics department was also a legend. Besides, the teacher just now did not have any bloodline matching. As soon as the words fell, everyone was surprised. It's true or false, I haven't completed the bloodline fit, why is it so strong? The coercion just now has almost caught up with Piccolo Daimao. Why are ordinary people who don't have the same bloodline, can be so powerful? Faced with doubts, the leading teacher looked up at the sky, as if recalling something. The teacher just now, named Shu Tian, used to be classmates with me. At first, he was indeed extremely weak due to the unsuccessful bloodline fit. However, the special thing about the logistics department is that they are the first to enter the exploration of any unknown ruins. Over time, there will always be people who have bad luck and turn over the salted fish. The teacher Shushin just now is the one who has received special power inheritance in the unknown ruins. Although he doesn't have a bloodline inheritance, at the pure profound strength level, he has almost caught up with the king level. It is estimated that it will not be long before he can officially enter the extraordinary king level. Speaking of which, the leading teacher of the martial arts department also became solemn. If Shu Tian really officially enters the super king level, then, it is estimated that even himself will not be an opponent. The martial arts power in this world is divided into 4 levels. The first level is ordinary martial artist. Similar to the level of Taobaibai in Dragon Ball, this ordinary person, as long as he undergoes strict training and a little fusion of some excellent blood, many of them can achieve. 85% of the warriors in the world are at this level. The second level is the martial arts master. A typical example is Tien Shinhan in Dragon Ball. A warrior of this level usually needs to have a bloodline fit, plus his own efforts, otherwise he cannot achieve it. Usually only about 10% of people can achieve this level. The third level is the martial arts master. Famous warriors, Master Roshi, fit the blood of Master Roshi, practice hard, and can use the Super Kamehameha. The fourth level is the legendary, extraordinary king level. The most famous is Piccolo Daimao. Of course, the Piccolo here is not the kind that just fits the bloodline, but a strong man who constantly fights, hones his skills and strength, and continuously improves and can truly display the strength of Piccolo Daimao. There are very few people in the world who can reach this level. It can be said that every real king is 1 in 10,000, to be precise, 1 in a million, or even rarer. And this virtual sky has the possibility of touching the extraordinary king level. Thinking of this, the teacher of the martial arts department narrowed his eyes. Cut, it's just a blind cat's luck. In the silence of everyone, an untimely remark came. That was Shang Feng's unwilling voice. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. Global God Choice. Only I Choose Saiyan Bloodline 19. Chapter 19. Chapter 19. The once brilliant logistics department. It's just that some blind cat met a dead mouse. Most people are still trash. Shang Feng's face was gloomy. He didn't expect that the logistics department, which he thought was mediocre, was actually hiding such a master. The teacher in charge of the martial arts department turned his head and looked at Shang Feng, but he didn't say anything. In fact, he also agreed very much. After all, the virtual sky is only a special case, not universal. In terms of overall strength, the people in their martial arts department are much stronger, and they are not afraid of the logistics department at all. Boy, are you courting death? The voice of the sky ahead came again. The quasi-king level powerhouse's hearing is so sensitive, Shang Feng's whispered whispers can obviously be caught in an instant. Shu Tian, do you still know the students in general? The leader of the martial arts department also responded. He walked to the middle of Shushin and Shang Feng and stopped Shushin's pressure. Shu Tian's temper is notoriously hot. He was still a little scared. If Shushin suddenly shot, the consequences were not something he could bear. Even fighting alone, he struggled a bit, not to mention a large group of students standing behind him. Please enter the next team of students and accept the inspection. Just as the two faced each other, a broadcast sound suddenly came from a distance. The previous team of students has all been tested, and now it is the turn of the martial arts department. Let's go. The teacher who led the team waved his hand and led everyone towards the ruins. When passing by the front of the virtual sky, he patted Shu Tian's shoulder. I heard that the liberal arts champion is in your class. Then you should be able to improve a little bit in the score of this relic expedition. I should be able to improve at least one place and become the second to last. In this way, when you go back to school, you can get less scolding. TFF. Listening to the teacher's words, the students in the martial arts department at the back couldn't bear it any longer and laughed outright. As I said, most of them are trash. Shang Feng's voice sounded again. Listen to the yin and yang strange words on the other side. Shu Tian ignored it and turned to leave. Although he was very unconvinced, he had to admit that the current martial arts department was indeed very powerful. And their logistics department is indeed inferior to others. After everyone in the martial arts department left and entered the ruins, Shu Tian turned back, looked at the huge protective mask on the ruins, and looked up at the sky again. There was loneliness in his eyes. I think back then, my logistics department was also a legend. Their university is called Mansion University. The city where the university is located is called Jinan Island. Jinan Island is located at the southernmost tip of the entire country, and further south, there is a large ocean. Many years ago, Jinan Island was not an island, but was integrated with the entire continental plate, and was named Jinan Province. About 30 years ago, there was an extremely large-scale terrorist beast tide in Jinan Province. At that time, all the beasts in the entire ocean seemed to be heading straight towards Jinan Province. Countless beast soldiers and beast generals, as if they were completely desperate, slammed into the high wall frantically. The blood splashed and dyed the high walls red. At first, the people inside the high wall were still actively resisting. It is believed that with the advantage of the high wall and the firepower above the high wall, the beast tide can be quelled within a short time. However, with the passage of time, the impact of the beast tide is getting bigger and bigger, and it is endless. People found that among the beasts, there were as many as hundreds of light lord level beasts. There are countless beast soldiers and beast generals, and the bullets hit the beasts, like a mud cow entering the sea, without a single splash. On top of the lord, there also appeared a king-level beast. This is a beast that is comparable to an extraordinary king. And, there are as many as 8. You must know that in normal times, it is rare to see a single king-level beast. Every time a king-level beast appears, it must be a bloody storm. But this time, there were a total of 8 king-level beasts. That terrifying sense of pressure made everyone who faced the beast horde feel hopeless. People immediately realized that this was by no means an ordinary beast tide. Therefore, after the high-level personnel recognized the situation, they immediately ordered any equipment, weapons and pills, all discarded. There is only one purpose: evacuate the whole city. However, there is a team of exceptions. That is, the logistics department. The staff of the logistics department stayed and were responsible for the break. By time for the others to evacuate. Countless martial arts masters, hundreds of martial arts masters, dozens of extraordinary king-level powerhouses resisted the onslaught of beast soldiers and generals. After paying a heavy price, he also beheaded one of the king-level beasts. Just when the impact of the beast tide slowly slowed down, an earth-shattering roar resounded throughout the world. A figure with a height of several hundred meters soared into the sky from the sea, and the terrifying coercion made the earth begin to crack. That is above the king level, the overlord level beast. A rare overlord level beast in the world. In the end, the retired minister of the logistics department, an extraordinary emperor level powerhouse, Qing Kang, ordered everyone to evacuate. And he alone can block the 7 king level and a rare overlord level beast in the world. No one knows the final result. You can only see the radiance in the battlefield, the sky is falling and the earth is cracking. In the end, the beast tide receded and the continent collapsed. And that extraordinary emperor-level powerhouse also mysteriously disappeared. The school searched the whole city, dispatched numerous ships' radars, and scanned the seabed. In the end, only the ID card was found. No one knew where he was, whether he was dead or alive. Ellipsis 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 dot dot. Ah, in front of the ruins, he looked up at the empty sky and the sky and sighed. Back then, the logistics department was full of talents. Like this kind of relic exploration, their logistics department can often get excellent results. Even, from time to time, it can suppress the head of the martial arts department. Like now, the last one has almost become the exclusive term of their logistics department. Immediately, Shu Tian glanced at the ruins. Think about the students you lead. A little hope appeared on the lonely face. I hope this time, someone can get good grades. Ellipsis 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 dot. Global God Choice. Only I choose Saiyan Bloodline 20. Chapter 20. Chapter 20. Is this the real world? Human beings destroyed. Inside the ruins, 4 clocks face the 4 directions of south, east, north and west respectively, forming a circle. The whole body of the clock is silver and white, and the black hands are very eye-catching. There are a lot of students sitting in every direction. Shu Heng sat on the reclining chair and looked at the huge clock in front of him, and was deeply shocked. The clock is hundreds of meters high, and the hands that look very small are actually as much as 3 meters in diameter. He had seen this giant clock in class before, but it was not as shocking as seeing it with his own eyes. Welcome to the Dreamland Ruins. Suddenly, a voice sounded like thunder, resounding throughout the ruins. I saw a figure standing in the sky above the height of 100 meters, at the center of the 4 clocks. Wow, walking in the air, is that a king-level master? The students on all sides looked at the figure above the sky and were amazed. Please focus on the hypnotic clock in front of you. The ruins will open in 10 seconds. Without any unnecessary nonsense, the figures in the sky started to issue instructions directly. In an instant, the noisy discussion immediately disappeared. On a recliner somewhere to the east, Shu Heng stared at the clock in front of him. After 10 seconds, the dark pointer began to rotate slowly, and the speed of rotation became faster and faster. Gradually, on the silver-white clock, there are several ghosts on the black hands. Subsequently, the ghosting increased until the entire dial was blackened. Shu Heng only felt that the blackness in front of him became more and more, until finally the whole world became dark. Suddenly, a light flashed before his eyes. The pitch-dark world suddenly brightened, and Shu Heng's eyes were tightly closed. When he opened his eyes again, he found that there was a huge room around him, and besides him, there were many other classmates. In front of them, there was a long table with various items on it. There are weapons, mirrors, tops, bulletproof vests. There's even a keyboard. Is this trying to kill the enemy with the keyboard? Top. Shu Heng looked at the top totem on the table, excited for a while. This is the real key to the dream space. You can choose the items on the table at will, but you can only take one. Beyond the room, there is the first floor of the dreamland. If you want to enter the second floor, you need to find a dream builder for help. Let's start your adventure. A familiar voice sounded. It was the person who opened the ruins for them just now. This gun is not bad. It looks very powerful. It should be very suitable for dealing with beasts. I want this. These shoes are better. Look at the wings on the heels. These shoes should run very fast. I don't want to be able to kill the beast, as long as I can stay longer. What is this top for? It's not ugly. Let's coax children. The classmates around, after selecting the items one after another, went out and left. The most chosen is the plasma pistol, because it has great lethality to beasts. In addition, shoes, bulletproof armor, and more, all kinds of options are available. However, none of the students chose the spinning top. It's really ignorant. Shu Heng shook his head, picked up the top, and walked towards the door. Ellipsis 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 ellipsis. In the first layer of dream space. After a while of dizziness, his vision began to gradually recover. All around, there are collapsed houses everywhere, and rotten trees fall at random at the intersection. This is where, isn't this a school dormitory? Why did it collapse? This is, Beast tide broke the city. Looking at the broken walls and ruins around him, Xu Heng was startled for a moment, and then, countless consciousnesses suddenly surged in his mind. Facing the beast tide, human beings are defeated. The city was engulfed. Humanity to the last moment of extinction. Only a handful of people survived, and these people are faced to kill the beasts led. This is the real world. So-called schools, so-called relics, those are the dream, the fantasy is being hunted beasts, produced, spiritual illusion. Escape, I do not show opponent. At this moment, some of this idea, continued to impact on the consciousness of Xu Heng, plunged into unprecedented chaos in Xu Heng thinking, was unable to distinguish, in the end which is a dream world when. Tramp, suddenly, in the hands of the gyro fell plop out of the ground. After seeing this gyro, Xu Heng slightly hesitated, bend, squat, rotatable gyroscope. Crashed, rotate begin, then, it seems to have been given this gyro endless power, faster and faster, did not mean to stop. Dream, here is definitely a dream. Looking at the totem spinning top. Instant, just countless messy, tangled consciousness, rapid dissipation, while all the real world, are rapidly restored. Ellipsis 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 dot. Well true, and the reality is almost exactly the same. Even if already prepared mind, I still had a trace of doubt. No wonder you can temper the spirit of power, and if the will is not strong enough, first layer cannot stand. Watching constantly rotating totem, Xu after completely recovered Heng, said to himself. But, around other students who are not so lucky. Ellipsis 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 dot dot. It's over. All is lost. Suddenly, Xu Heng heard screaming next. He turned to look, only to find him around more than one person. There are quite a few students. Several students leaning on the wall, panting. Another sitting on the ground, his hands, the look of fear, screaming. Beast tide broke up the city. All is lost. The other students looked at him, and looked puzzled. Are you crazy? Were relics experience, here is a dream. You just crazy, right? Look here, this is the school dormitory, all collapsed, as well as a library, is over, the demise of the human race, we, cannot be saved. Bang, that the students, shouting, while fiercely with his head hitting the wall, the sound of a bang, bloody spot. Dead, dead, seeing the bodies, there was blood all over the floor, and after the crash, the collapse of the skull, many still doubt the authenticity of the students, on the spot shocked, voice tremble. There are some willpower is not strong. Did not even need to kill the beasts, etc. I found Sizhuang students, desperation, and that they start thinking about suicide way. Some students, with weapons, or constantly shoot the beasts in the distance. Here in the end it is true or a dream, they do not have to consider this issue, just want to survive. Of course, there are very few students, after a short suspicion, and soon, you sure this is a dream, then they are the fastest, find shelter, want more time to escape. Ellipsis 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 dot. Recover the Xu Heng, to see it all, and did not intend to help. Rushing looked away, a dark mass of beasts, he quickly put away the totem gyro earth. The first layer is not my goal. Consciousness here intrusion, break open too easy, hurdle be right over, have to get out and find dream division, the remains of the job to the next level. Thought of this, Xu Heng turned straight away. Hey, do not, everywhere. See walking around Xu Heng, there is a role substituted into this world, that this is the real world of students, want to remind him very dangerous. But an opening, if not yet finished, he stared straight. I saw the turn of Xu Heng, the gap in the side of the broken wall, a shadow, fiercely toward his fury. Shongsho, cold face body, it's over, this guy is dead. Ellipsis 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 dot dot.